back in the middle 1800s, and this is the gist of the Panther Cave story, we're talking 1850s or right prior to the Civil War, there was a family that was passing through. They were headed to they were coming out of Waco and headed to Fort Belknap, which is on up where Possum Kingdom is now. And their name was Stephen. And he left his wife down in Waco, and she got so lonely that she wanted to establish a home on his route. He was a freighter and carried freight from Waco up there. And so one time during according to the family, a bad blizzard, he kind of stumbled onto this this cave here, this overhang, and it saved his life. It kept him from freezing to death. He was able to get in here. He even talks about bringing in his oxen in with him. And and then when he got back to Waco, he thought, hey, you know, this would be a great place for my wife to come live. And he told her that he had found a fantastic place to set up housekeeping. And she got all excited about the new home, you know, and he got her and put her in the wagon, brought her up here. And you can imagine she was kind of shocked when she got out, and he says, you know, here we are, home. But what they did was they put some partition walls that are long gone, but they were rock partition walls in here. And so they had like several little rooms. And even a little, because this is a box canyon, they were able to put a rough split rail fence across here and keep some livestock and whatnot right up in the creek here in the bottom. And so it worked out pretty nice. He still had to take his route, you know, and she got left here alone quite a bit of the time. And in those days, there were lots of wild animals still around. I mean, you know, panthers, but there was wolves, bears. The black bears were here. And then, you know, there was a stray buffalo or two that might get mad at you being in here. And then the Indians, Comanches and Kiowas, and sometimes they didn't take weren't very friendly about people coming into this area at that time. Turned out, though, one time on on Mr. Stephen's trip out, she was here by herself. Well, I say by herself. They had acquired a bulldog that probably was identical to this one right here. I don't know how that one. She must live close, but yeah, they got a bulldog and named it Bull, and he figured into their story here. I'll tell about it here in just a minute. But anyway, it was just Mrs. Stephen and Bull. He was gone, and she gave birth in here, right here somewhere, by herself. I mean, it was her and the dog, and I don't imagine the dog was much help. But by the time Mr. Stephen got back, a couple of weeks later, she probably met him and said, hey, we've got a new family. And he says, oh, she says, yeah, we got twin boys. And he was all excited and said, he picked them up and starting the family out, twins, boys. He was really ecstatic. He probably asked her something like this, well, what's their names? I've been gone. And she says, I've already figured that out. This one's named Cliff, and this one's named Cave. So one of the boys was Cliff, and the other one was Cave. Now this is true. This is no joke. She really did this. And so Cliff and Cave spent their first years. This was their little house and where they lived.